To make our shamrock, here are the supplies we will need. Yarn, I'm using worsted weight green because that's traditional, and a 6mm crochet hook to go with it. If you have a different size of green yarn already in your stash, that's fine. You can use whatever size for this project. Just make sure your hook will sort of match the size of the yarn. Scissors, of course, to be cutting the yarn, and then a tapestry or yarn needle for weaving in our ends at the end of the project. I'm going to set these extra things off to the side. And let's get started. So for this project, we're going to be starting with a magic circle. If you've not done a magic circle, I'll go ahead and teach you now. So you hold the yarn with the tail coming towards your body in between your middle finger and your thumb. You wrap around both fingers at the top, making an X. And then pull back the other way around those same two fingers, those bars next to each other, not an X anymore. And then on the front again, or towards the palm of our hand, we're going to close down with the pinky and the ring finger. One more time, I'll show that much to you because that's the trickiest part. Tail coming towards your body, thumb and middle finger holding the yarn. Wrap around the top two fingers, X in the front, side by side in the back. And we're just holding it tight with the bottom two fingers. Now we're going to take our crochet hook and you're going to flip your hand so the back of your hand is up. With these two bars side by side. Under the first bar, catch the second one. Pull it out and then twist so there's a loop around your hook. Now I'm just going to let go, and there's my magic circle. So this tail, I want to make sure doesn't fall back through, or else that would undo the magic circle. I'm just going to tighten it up around my hook a little bit, and then I am going to be working inside of this circle to do my first stitches. This tail, we'll just see it sort of crosses over here, and we can work through that the whole time. And at this point to work, I'm just going to bring the longer yarn up in front to be my working yarn like I would when I normally crochet, and that will just naturally bring it close around here. We're going to make 3 leaves for our shamrock. As you can see, I chose to do a 3-leaf one. The proportions just worked better for me. So we're going to start with a double crochet. So yarn over, go into the middle of your circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Just a regular double crochet. And then we're going to do a triple crochet stitch. If you haven't done that before, it's 2 yarn overs first. Let me go in, pull up a loop, and we're just going to go through 2 at a time. So yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So it just makes a taller stitch. That's going to help our leaves go up a little bit more from the center. Now to help the top of the leaf be a little bit pointy and defined, we're just going to do 1 chain stitch at the top of the leaf. And now we're going back down the other way. So yarn over twice for a triple crochet. Through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then a double crochet again. Still working all of our stitches into this magic circle. And there's our double crochet, and this is our first leaf completed. Again, this little tail is trying to hop out, don't let it. And these are going to be tightening up a little bit as they go. To sort of complete this leaf and bring it back down to the center, I'm going to do 2 slip stitches. Oops, yarn over once and then bring it through, right? Insert yarn over and then bring it through that initial loop. 2 slip stitches. And now I'm going to do the second leaf. I'm going to pull some yarn out of this skein so it's easier to work with. And now we do the same thing. So start with a double crochet. Now a triple crochet, so yarning over twice. And then for the top of the second leaf, I just chain at the top and triple crochet coming back down. I played around with this a few different ways as I was making this pattern, and I really like the height on the triple crochets there. So now a double crochet for the other side of that leaf. And then 2 slip stitches back into the middle circle. Just get down there. There we go. And again, you can see my tail here, my magic circle is trying to sneak back out, so I'm just watching that and pulling that back up as I need. And I'm just pulling some more yarn out of my skein here to make it easier to work with. And as I'm going, I'm just going to pull these leaves around a little bit to give me a little bit more space here to work with. And now the last leaf, so a double crochet. Triple crochet, yarning over twice to start. If you're unfamiliar with these stitches, right, you can follow along as I go, or look back at the first part of my video again. Chain at the top, and then another triple crochet. Just pulling through 2 loops each time for that triple crochet. then another double crochet, and then 2 slip stitches at the end. Oops, getting that little tail, trying to be sneaky. And slip stitch for the end. There we go. You want to make sure that your working yarn is back behind when you're finishing up, so we're still going to use that. But now that we have our 3 leaves, it of course doesn't look like the completed project that we're wanting yet. So we're going to take that tail from Magic Circle, and that's what's going to cinch it up for us. Cinch, cinch, cinch. And as you go, it's just going to tighten that circle. You can see it's gone some, and you can leave a little hole there. But I like mine really tight. I'm going to pull it really, really tight there, so it's not showing very much extra space. And now it's time to make our stem. So we're going to chain 5 for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm going to single crochet back up along where I just was. So I of course have the loop on the hook. I'm going to skip the chain right next to me, and then I'm going to come into the top loop of the next chain back and single crochet my way back along. That's just going to give a little bit more thickness to that stem, and also a beautiful curl actually. So single crochets, right? I'm just inserting, pulling up a loop, and then pulling through both that are on my hook, all the way back till I get back to the main base of the shamrock. There's the stem. You can see because the chains right here, and then there's more space for those, or the chains are tighter rather, and the single crochets are a little bit bigger stitch. It's sort of like pulling it a little bit this way, and I love that look. But it's floppy, right? So in order to attach this side of the stem to the main thing, we're going to come in, I'm sort of just pull it across and look for a space here that's really, really close, and I'm going to slip stitch in. So I'm going to come actually into that center circle. That's how I'm choosing to do it. You can find another stitch if that's easier for you. Your center's too tight. I'm just going to slip stitch to pull it in tight. So that is the main thing done. Now we just have to finish it off. I'm going to cut off a tail to help me weave in my ends. I don't know, 6 inches or so. It doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to just pull that yarn through and then sort of cinch it down tight to finish that off. And then this is my last chance if I want to tighten up that inner circle at all. So I'm going to take my original tail from my Magic Circle and again just tighten that up as it got looser as I was working. And now I'm going to weave in the ends. So I'm going to get my tapestry needle or my yarn needle and thread the needle. Oh, a trick that I learned for threading these, it was so hard, like it just doesn't, even with a big fat eye on a yarn needle, it's hard to get the yarn through. So I was taught to fold it over the top of the needle, pinch it tight, and then slide it off. And then you can pinch it tight, 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 and it just folds and goes right through the yarn needle so nicely that way. Love that. This is the front of my shamrock. This is the side that I was looking at as I stitch it. You could make this the front if you wanted, it just has a different texture. But because I so often work with the crocheted stitches, this feels like the front to me. So I'm going to weave in my ends on the back instead. So I'm going to just bring this needle through and bring my yarn through to what I consider the back to weave in my end over there. And if you haven't woven in ends before, all we're trying to do, there's already a knot there, it shouldn't come undone, but we want this tail to not have a little teeny bit left that might have the knot come undone, and also not to be floppy all over the place. So I'm just going to find a lot of tight stitches here and just bring my needle through a lot of these stitches. I don't know, maybe 6. I'm just going to bring that tail through. And then I'm going to go back again over itself so that the tension of itself will help it keep in place. I'm going to go across the last loop that I did, and there's not one right way to do this, right? But I'm going to come back across those same stitches so that my yarn will be caught over that loop, but it will keep itself in place. Boom. So that end is woven in, needle off, and then I'm going to cut off this yarn really, really close. And now we just have one more to do. So again, this is the front. This yarn tail from my Magic Circle is already on the back. Last chance to tighten it up. And then we'll do the same thing with weaving in this one. I'm probably going to use the same stitches I used last time. Those were good tight stitches. So again, I'm just going to weave this yarn in through here. Tighter the better, I think, so that hopefully it won't come undone. Pull it through, and again I'm just going to skip one little stitch that I just barely was through and then weave it back through the same place, nice and tight. that's woven in. I'm going to cut off this tail as well. And there you go. It's all done. Here's your shamrock. I love these. These speak childhood to me. My mom was an avid crocheter and she would always have some of these on hand. So St. Patrick's Day morning when we woke up, we're going to elementary school, it was a big deal to need to wear green. And if we were running off to catch the bus and weren't wearing green, she would safety pin one of these to our shirt really fast. And it was a great childhood memory that I have. So thanks for joining me today. If you want to give this a try, I'd love to hear how it goes for you. And please go ahead and like and then subscribe to my channel so you can get other ideas for beginner crochet projects. Thanks so much.